Yeah, we get a lot of people saying all the time, I'm so burnt out, I'm so fried, I got so much going on. There's a lot on my plate. A lot of people will say, there's a lot on my plate, there's a lot on my plate. And the big question is, who put it there? Who put it on your plate? Was it you? Was it someone else? Was it because there was boundaries missing? You should have had boundaries and now you're overwhelmed. It's a good question to ask. It's a good question to think about. I'm Mario Leone. This is the Voices of Victory channel, and today's episode is You Burn Out from Doing Too Much of What Doesn't Matter to You. That's what today's episode actually is. So when people talk about getting burnt out, they usually point to a few different things. They say, I'm doing too much, I'm overwhelmed, too many hours, too much pressure, too much responsibilities. All of it sounds equally correct. All of it sounds equally correct until you actually put it under a microscope and start to look at it a little bit closer, because you realize that you're busy all day and you still feel alive. And as an idea of that, you could be completely exhausted because you're doing so much. But what is really going on? Because some people are busy all day and they feel alive by being busy, or there's this need to be busy. And sometimes busyness is the way we look. We look busy, but we're not really being productive. That also happens to different people. So, what is going on? Getting burnt out isn't just about filling up your schedule and doing too much. That's not what it's about. It's not about piling things up in your world. It's not about overwhelming yourself. It's about doing too much of what doesn't matter and being able to discern the difference between what matters and what doesn't. So your energy is not just physical. You also have mental energy. You allow certain things to pay rent in your head. And it's all tied to our meaning, and it's also tied to what we value. So if we spend our time on things that feel forced or pointless, we get disconnected from who we actually are. Your brain doesn't just get tired. It's not about that. It's not just about mental tiredness. It gets exhausted and eventually it just starts putting up a fight, starts resisting, starts pushing things away. So even when you do the small things, it still feels like a Herculean massive task. And you start to procrastinate more, you feel totally wiped out, totally drained, and you lose focus real quick. It's nothing in your realm that feels worth the effort. So it is important to look at it and say, what really matters out of all this stuff? And what is it that I could actually cut away? It's like being on a boat and things have to go overboard. So let's start throwing things over that we absolutely don't need. And we have to pay attention to the work on the ship that actually needs to be done and the direction that the ship is heading in. So you might wake up tired, exhausted, completely depleted, even after a wonderful night's sleep. Or you keep saying, I just need a break, I just need a break. But when the break happens, you're overwhelming your mind with something else. So you scroll more, avoid more, delay work more. You do get things done, but afterwards, you're not really giving yourself any downtime because you feel that you actually need to be busy all the time. It's like you're moving all day, tires are spinning, but the car is not going anywhere. So there is some patterns here. That when your life is totally filled with things that don't matter, then the work feels so much harder. Time feels like it's passing you by and it's slower than it actually is. Time feels like it's a wasting. But the effort feels pointless going towards those things that don't matter, but it feels somehow purposeful going towards the things that actually do. So your brain has a wonderful way of protecting you in the very way that it actually knows how to do that. It'll start by pulling your energy back, both mentally and physically, even emotionally. That is what people actually can slap a label on it, and we can call it burnout. But it's not burnout exactly. It is indeed burnout, but it's burnout from energy on things that doesn't matter. They don't matter. When we look at the things that actually matter. So you try to take a weekend off, you try to take a vacation, even to just take a moment to slow things down. And while you're on vacation, your mind doesn't get a rest. You're still dealing with work-related stuff while you're away. You brought your computer with you, but you're not shutting down, and your mind is in absolute overdrive. So that feeling starts to come back of, I'm busy, but I'm not paying attention to life and being on vacation. So it doesn't mean you should quit everything, but we have to start looking at it like, what am I doing every day that I don't actually care about? There's some things that seem like I have to push it. Or when I do it, it doesn't seem like it's making much of a difference. It happens to be something that you don't matter. It doesn't matter. So we have to reduce what doesn't matter. It's a matter of prioritizing and understanding actual value and create that room and create that space for actually what does. So even if it's just a little at first, because energy doesn't come from doing less. It comes from doing the things that are actually worth doing. Restoring that purpose, giving you a sense of purpose. It connects to your heart. It connects to your mind. So a lot of folks, they feel like, all right, well, I'm strong enough. I can just push through anything. But what are you pushing through? Are you pushing through things of value? Or are you pushing through things that really don't reap any reward at all? And it feels like you're spinning your wheels at the end of the day. Because when you're pushing through it, it could be pulling you further away from yourself and what actually truly matters. So when we look at what we value, we put what we value under a microscope and really ask ourselves the question of like, how does this really connect to who I am? How does this connect to myself? Because at that point, Voices of Victory isn't just a fun, nice to have channel, but it can actually be the voice of recognizing where your discipline can actually be. It is a direction. But if your direction or your compass is taking you in the middle of the woods and you don't really know where you're going, if you don't have a sense of direction or value there, you could just wander aimlessly. And that's part of the journey, and it can be fun, but it can certainly be exhausted, even though we all know that fun is fun. It's exciting. It's supposed to rejuvenate us. It's supposed to get us to escape from life. But if we escape too much, are we really paying attention to what physically matters in this world? So if you feel exhausted all the time, don't just ask, like, how do I do less? How can I do less? Start asking yourself, why does so much of this feel like it actually doesn't matter? And where am I actually putting my energy? And when that answer becomes super clear, the good news is everything else will change, everything else will shift, everything else will move into a different direction. That's all I got to say today. Have a great day. Don't forget to check out the Patreon link below, because good old Patreon is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. We can grow together on this channel. Have a great day. Take care.